They thought they could erase me. My name, my credit, my history gone. In a single week, I became a ghost, and someone else became me. They bought a waterfront condo in Miami, leased to Teslas, and even took out a loan under my name. $700,000. $700,000 they burned, while I spent my nights on hold with banks and federal investigators, trying to prove that asterisk I existed asterisk, but that wasn't the part that broke me. No, what shattered me was the letter from the IRS asterisk their asterisk tax bill addressed to me. It started 2 years earlier, back when I was naive enough to believe that identity theft was something that only happened to careless people. I wasn't careless. I worked in cybersecurity, for God's sake. I had encrypted drives, multi-factor, authentication, and a paranoia that would make most people roll their eyes. I used to laugh at those dark, web protection commercials that preyed on fear. But that was before I met Julia. Julia wasn't a hacker. She was warm, curious, and slightly chaotic. We met at a tech conference in Austin, both half-drunk on overpriced cocktails and career anxiety. She had a laugh that cut through noise like sunlight through fog, and within weeks, she was sleeping over at my place 3 nights a week. She'd bring her laptop, claim she was finishing freelance design work, and hum softly to whatever playlist she was listening to. I never checked what she was doing. I didn't need to. I trusted her. One night, though, I woke up around 2 a.m. to find her sitting at my desk, my laptop open, the blue glow painting her face. Couldn't sleep, she said quickly when she noticed me, just checking my email. I nodded and went back to bed. But something in her voice, it trembled, just a little. 2 months later, she was gone. No goodbye, no note. Just a half-empty drawer and a faint trace of her perfume in my sheets. Première Khaled. Texted, emailed nothing. I told myself it was just heartbreak, the kind that you move on from with time. But time didn't heal. It unraveled. The first call came from my bank. Mr. Lawson, the man said politely, "We're just confirming your wire. Transfer to a property in Florida." My confusion must have been audible because he repeated it slower, as if I'd gone deaf. First time in months, I smiled. I didn't know how long I had, or if any of this world was still real, but it didn't matter. I was free. Behind me, the facility doors hissed closed. A faint blue light flickered once on a single, server deep inside. Then the screen for last going on restore. Low. Steady, like the heartbeat of something waking up. But I was already walking away into the rising sun. Asterisk, I didn't expect an answer, but 2 nights later, I got one. A text from an unknown number. Asterisk, you shouldn't have come here. Asterisk, my heart stopped. The tone was unmistakable, calm, confident. Asterisk, Julia, asterisk, I called the number, but it went straight to voicemail. Then, another message. Asterisk, you think I did this alone. Asterisk, that was the moment I realized it. Wasn't just identity theft, it was an operation. My information wasn't stolen to drain accounts. It was used to build something. A web of shell companies, fake filings, digital assets all under my name. I was the perfect front, clean credit, no criminal record, stable income, predictable habits. I wasn't a victim. I was a foundation. Belix, leaving out UFR. Cheap Mattel near the water, eating takeout, staring at spreadsheets, IP traces, financial records. The more I uncovered, the deeper it went. Offshore transfers. Cryptocurrency, exchanges registered in the Cayman Islands. And then one file stopped me cold and email chain between Julia Evre and someone named him Graves, discussing finalizing liquidation before IRS filing. Liquidation. Filing. My stomach turned. I flew back home to Seattle. 3 months later, I received a thick, official-looking envelope from the Internal Revenue Service. I tore it open and stared. A tax assessment for $712,480 in undeclared income. The letter was addressed to asterisk me asterisk. I remember laughing. A sharp, broken sound that scared even me. They stole my identity, my money, my life, and now they left me with the taxes, but I wasn't finished. I was going to find them. And this time, they weren't getting away with it. I spent the first few nights after the IRS letter sitting in the dark. The paper lying open on my kitchen table, like a wound that wouldn't close. The numbers stared back at me, columns of digits that mocked everything I had built. I had nothing left in my accounts. My credit score was in ashes, and the IRS thought I'd made nearly $750,000 in unreported income. When I finally slept, I dreamed of Julia, in the dream. She stood on the balcony of that Miami condo, smiling as she watched the ocean. Her hair was longer, her skin darker, her laughter softer, but it was her. She turned to me and said, "You should have been smarter." Then she stepped backward and vanished into the waves. I woke up gasping, drenched in sweat. I knew what I had to do. The next morning, I called Manny. He answered on the second ring, his voice thick with exhaustion and bourbon. "You still alive?" "Lawson, barely," I said. "You still have that file on Julia?" He groaned. "What's left of it?" "You planning to reopen that nightmare?" She left me a $700,000 tax bill. There was silence, then a slow exhale. "Jesus Christ. All right, meet me at the old pier off Madison at 10 tonight. Don't bring your phone." When I got there, the wind was sharp, the kind that cut through denim. Manny was waiting by his beat-up Cadillac, a cigarette glowing between his fingers. He tossed a manila folder onto the hood. "I've been keeping tabs on her," he said. "She's not using your name anymore. Goes by asterisk, Lena Graves asterisk now. Lives in a gated community, outside Boca Raton. Got herself a new boyfriend too. Resta Marcus Grave. I'd bet my last dollar that's the same M. Graves from those emails you found." I opened the folder. Photos, receipts, property records, and one flight manifest with asterisk Lena Graves asterisk listed under private charter, Nassau. My pulse thudded in my ears. "They're running offshore," I said. "Yup," Manny said, flicking ash into the night. "And you?" "You're gonna do what?" "March down to Florida and politely ask for your life back." "I don't need to ask." I closed the folder. "I just need proof." The plan formed slowly, like a fever dream that hardened into resolve. I still had access to some of my old work tools from my cybersecurity job. Eventu Gidib and Temperanding Financial View. My credentials were still valid. I could trace her digital movement, her email aliases, VPN endpoints, and even her fake corporations if I was careful. Over the next 2 weeks, I built a small war room in my apartment. 2 monitors, 1 burner laptop, coffee cups and takeout boxes stacked like sandbags. I scoured public records, scraped metadata, and followed digital breadcrumbs she didn't know she'd left behind. A photo of her new house posted on a private Instagram account. A realtor's listing number embedded in the file name. From there, I found the property manager. From him, I got access logs. She was there. Every week, Tuesday and Thursday, I also found Marcus. Or rather, I found asterisk what he pretended to be asterisk. His real name was Marcus DeWitt, a former hedge fund broker who'd been indicted for embezzlement 5 years ago. The case was dismissed when the lead witness vanished. The pieces clicked together. Julia, Lena wasn't just some manipulative ex. She was part of a laundering ring. They weren't stealing identities for money, they were creating ghosts. That's when I realized maybe I could use that against them. One night, I called Manny again. "How much do you trust your contacts in Florida?" I asked. "About as far as I can throw them," he said. "But they'll do anything for cash." "Good. I need eyes on a house in Boca, and I need a way in." He laughed. "You're really gonna break into their place? You planning to steal your life back or end up in federal prison?" "Maybe both," I said. 3 days later, Manny's contact, a woman named Tasha, sent me photos from inside the gated community. A 2-story mansion with glass walls and manicured lawns. Julie asterisk Lena asterisk was visible through a window, her hair shorter now, sleek and perfect. She was laughing at something Marcus said, her hand on his shoulder. Tasha's text came next. Asterisk they leave for the islands Friday night, back Sunday. "I can get you inside for 2 hours Saturday." Asterisk that was all I needed. Friday came. Première photo. Miami, rented a car under a fake name, and drove down the coast. My heart hammered so hard I could feel it in my teeth. Every mile closer felt like descending into something irreversible. Tasha met me near the gate just after dark. "Security's lazy," she said. "Cameras point outwards." "Not in." She handed me a keycard and a small USB stick. "This'll get you in the front door." Don't touch anything. You don't have to. Inside, the house was a cathedral of glass and silence. Every step echoed. The air smelled faintly of perfume hers. I walked past a grand piano, a marble kitchen, and into the office. Her laptop was there, sleek and silver, sitting open on the desk. My hands shook as I plugged in the USB stick. It bypassed her login in seconds. Old habits die hard, I thought grimly. The screen filled with documents, bank transfers, contracts, fake passports, offshore ledgers. Dozens of folders named after people I didn't know, but each one had an eerie pattern. The same forged signatures, the same stolen identities, and they're mine. Daniel Leçon Active opened it. A scanned passport, photo mine. A falsified tax filing with digital signatures. Even a fake marriage certificate between Daniel Lawson and Lena Graves. My throat closed. Then a notification blinked in the corner of the screen. Remote connection detected. I froze. The cursor began to move on its own. Then a message appeared on the screen. I told you not to come here. I yanked the USB out and slammed the laptop shut. My heart was a live wire. I turned, expecting shadows, but the house was still silent. I ran for the door, every instinct screaming. Outside, the Florida air was heavy with salt and fear. I didn't stop driving until I hit the highway. When I finally opened the laptop in my motel room, the files were there, everything I'd copied before the system detected me. Enough to prove the fraud. Enough to destroy them. But there was something else to a new file, added automatically to the USB drive after I pulled it out. Its name was simple. We're not done. I clicked it. A video loaded. Julia's face filled the screen. Calm, confident, and cold. You really think you can win this? Daniel, she said softly. You forget I built your identity. I know every password, every trace, every secret. You can try to expose me, but when you do, they'll find everything I left in your name. And you'll go down first. She smiled, that same disarming smile from Austin. You were always the perfect mark. The video ended. And I finally understood. She hadn't just stolen my identity. She had rewritten me. But I wasn't done either. Not yet. I didn't sleep that night. The glow of the screen still burned behind my eyes long after I shut the laptop. Every time I closed them, I saw Julia's face smiling, confident, knowing she still had control. She wasn't bluffing. If she'd planted data in my name, illegal transfers, fake transactions, then exposing her meant exposing myself. Buta dinting powerless. The next morning, I called Manny again. She knows, I said, voice low. She saw me in her system. He swore. Christ, Danny, you were supposed to be careful. I was. She still had a backdoor open in her network. She's been watching every move I make. He was silent for a moment. Then, you still got the files? Yeah, good. Make copies. Hide them in 3 different places. And whatever you do, don't go back to your apartment. She knows where you live. I laughed bitterly. Already too late. As soon as I hung up, I started moving. I rented a new car, paid cash, and drove north away from Miami, away from everything familiar. I stopped at a motel outside Jacksonville, a grim little place that smelled of mildew and cigarette burns. There, I set up again, new laptop, new VPN, burner sim. I wasn't Daniel Lawson anymore. Not online. For days, I combed through the stolen files. There were dozens of victims, all like me, people with good credit, stable, incomes, no criminal records. Each had their own entity, file, inside Julia's system. She'd turn them into paper ghosts. Fronts for fake corporations that laundered money through shell accounts and digital assets. I recognized the pattern-layered transfers, overseas remittance, crypto tumbling. It was clean to clean. Whoever she worked for, they weren't amateurs. And then, buried deep in the metadata of a ledger, I found it, a transaction chain ending in a Cayman Islands account under Lena and Marcus Graves *. That account wasn't empty, it had millions. But here's the thing, the account was linked to a trust. And the trustee listed wasn't Lena or Marcus. It was Daniel Lawson *. My name, my stolen name. I stared at the screen until the letters blurred. She'd envied my *. The IRS, The banks, the government, they all thought I was the one sitting on that money. That was when the idea took shape. Dangerous, brilliant, maybe suicidal. If she wanted to bury me with her crimes, then I'd drag her down with mine. I opened a blank document and began writing. A confession. Soroff. It detailed everything how Julia Everett, under multiple aliases, had orchestrated an identity laundering operation. How she'd built fake corporate entities under stolen identities. How I'd discovered it. I included every screenshot, every ledger, every timestamp. Then I set up a timed email released to 3 journalists, 1 IRS fraud investigator, and a cybercrime task force scheduled for 72 hours later. If anything happened to me, the files would go public. Then I did something reckless. I messaged her. The number she'd used to text me before still worked. My fingers shook as I typed, "You made a mistake. Julia, you left the money in my name." I didn't expect a response, but seconds later, the dots appeared. "You shouldn't have looked that deep. You think you can outplay me. You can't even see the board. Delete everything. Daniel, you're playing with people who don't care if you live through the week." I typed back before I could stop myself. "Then let's see who dies first." No reply, just silence. That night, I left the motel and drove aimlessly for hours. The highway was empty, the world hushed except for the hum of the engine and my own ragged breathing. Et very peroff. Headlights in the rearview mirror felt like a threat. When I finally stopped at a 24-hour diner, I realized my phone had been pinged 8 times from an unknown tower near Miami. She or someone working for her was tracking me. I bought a burner from a gas station and smashed the old one against the pavement. By the second day, the paranoia was setting in. I saw the same white SUV parked outside my new motel twice. When I walked to the vending machine, I caught a man watching me in the reflection of the window. I told myself I was imagining it until the 3rd night. When someone tried the handle of my door around 3 a.m., I didn't move. Premier jeu était, hand wrapped around this U-button never fired. The handle rattled once. Then stopped fading away. Morning came like a hangover. I packed my bags and left before sunrise, driving inland until I hit a small town called Ocala. There, I rented a short-term cabin in the woods under a fake name. No cameras, no neighbors, just trees and silence. For the first time in weeks, I felt something close to safety until the email came. Et toi from? A new address? Approve, mail comme crochet droit, parenthèse ouverte, maito, double.l.grave.privat@proton.com. The subject line, you still don't understand. I clicked it. Inside on image fil. When I turned twice, it was a photo of my apartment door back in Seattle, freshly splintered. Police tape. The caption read, "Someone was looking for you." Then another line. "You can't hide from something I built." I stared at the screen for what felt like an hour. She was right. I was fighting her on her terms digitally, invisibly, on ground she owned. If I wanted to win, I had to change the rules, so I made another plan. I called Manny from a payphone. "I need a meeting," I said. "Where?" "Somewhere off the grid. No phones, no laptops. Bring cash." He sighed. "You sound like a man ready to burn the world down." "I am," I said. We met 2 nights later in a rundown storage lot outside Tampa. The place reeked of motor oil and rain. I laid out what I'd found, the offshore accounts, the trust, the video message, everything. He listened without interrupting, his face hardening with every detail. When I finished, he nodded slowly. "Shukno, T isn't just her anymore. You're stepping on cartel money, black ops laundering, God knows what else. She's small time compared to..." Footsteps. The storage unit lights flickered, then died entirely. Lightning split the sky for a moment, illuminating 3 men in suits, scanning the lot with flashlights and earpieces. One of them lifted his radio. "They're gone," he said flatly. "But the laptop's fried." "We'll trace the signal." "Negative," came a voice through static. Female, calm, cold. "Julia." I felt my chest tighten. That voice calculated, measured, almost asterisk amused. "Asterisk, don't trace it," she said. "He's expecting that. He wants a chase. Let him think he's ahead. He'll come to me." The radio clicked off. The men got back into their cars. The SUVs pulled away, their taillights dissolving into the storm. We waited another full minute before Manny exhaled. Jesus Christ, he muttered. You weren't kidding. She's not working alone, I said. Those weren't freelancers. No, Manny said, shaking his head. Those were handlers. I stared at the mud where the SUVs had been, feeling the panic curdle into something else resolve. Then I'm done playing defense. Manny gave me a look. You got a death wish. I've got nothing left to lose. He studied me for a long moment, rain running down his face. Then he said, All right, Lawson, you want to burn it all down? Let's light the match. We ditched the car 2 towns over, near a truck stop where no one asked questions. I paid cash for a motel that smelled like mildew and fear. While Manny stood guard by the window, I pried open the fried laptop's casing and yanked the SSD. Most of it was toast, but the cache memory encrypted fragments might still hold traces of the transfer attempt. If I could rebuild the partial packet logs, I might find where the override came from. Eve premier coup de force could find her fils hours past. I typed until my fingers cramped, reconstructing the data byte by byte. Finally, a pattern emerged 3 IP relay points. On in Panama, on in Zurich, and one in other country. The state, she's back in the US, I said. Atlanta, Manny whistled softly. That's a bold move. She thinks I'm hiding, I said. She doesn't think I'll come to her, he frowned. And you will. I'm done being hunted. He didn't argue. As you know, Dad did packing. 2 days later, we were in Atlanta. I'd been here before, years ago conferences, client meetings, hotel bars that all smelled like ambition and stale perfume. This time, it felt alien. I watched every reflection, every tail light behind me. We set up in another safe motel on the outskirts, near Decatur. Manny used a contact to pull utilities data linked to the Graves alias. One hit a short-term lease under *L, Graves Holdings LLC*, tied to a luxury condo downtown. That was where she was. We spent the next day watching. She wasn't careful anymore. She moved like someone who believed she was untouchable. Coffee runs in the morning. Jimmy in the afternoon, always in designer clothes, always with that calm, unhurried air. But there was something else. 2 men shadowed her everywhere. Security, not the kind you hire off Craigslist. These were trained, military posture. Manny leaned back in the car seat. You go in there. You don't come out. I don't need to go in, I said. I just need her to *C* me. That night, I waited by the parking garage exit. Hood up, face shadowed. When her black BMW rolled past, I stepped forward, just enough for her headlights to catch me. Her eyes flicked up, recognition, shock, then anger. She stopped the car. For a heartbeat, the world was still. Then the window rolled down, and I heard her voice. You really don't know when to quit, do you? The guards flanked me instantly, but she held up a hand. No, let him talk. Rain began again, soft, steady. I stepped closer, close enough to see the faint scar on her lip, the same one I used to kiss when she'd smile in the dark. You built your empire with my name, I said. You left your money under my ID. You think I won't burn you to the ground for that? Her smile was faint, dangerous. You still think this is about money? Then what is it? She leaned out slightly. Her eyes caught the streetlight come, unshaken. Control. I don't steal lives. Daniel, I redesigned them. You were a prototype. The word hit like a slap. Prototype. You had clean credentials, a predictable pattern, high-value clearance. Perfect candidate. With everything you were. Replicat edit end all of the worlds. Investors CEOs donors. They all trace back to ***. The IRS. The banks, they'll never untangle it. My voice was shaking now. You used me to build a system that can't be audited. Exactly. Her tone softened, almost affectionate. You should be proud. You're the foundation of the new identity economy. Real people are liabilities. Data's cleaner. I felt my stomach turn. You're insane. Her smile vanished. No, Daniel. I'm inevitable. I stepped back, heart pounding. Then I'll end you before that happens. She tilted her head, studying me like a scientist examining a specimen. You already tried and failed. You don't have the reach, the network, or the time. I took a deep breath, forcing a smile of my own. You're right. I don't, but the IRS does. Her expression flickered, just for a second. I leaned closer. Remember that trust account in the Caymans? It's been flagged. You left a digital signature in your last override. I didn't erase it. Her mask cracked slightly, but enough. I stepped back into the shadows. 3 days from now, federal agents will be knocking on your door. I scheduled the drop. Her composure returned almost instantly, but the damage was done. You're lying, she said softly. Try me. The guards moved forward, but she didn't give the order. She just watched as I turned and walked away, my heart hammering, every nerve screaming. Manny picked me up 3 blocks away. You're still alive, he said. Not for long, I muttered. She come for me before the drop hits. He nodded grimly. Then we better make sure she doesn't get the chance. We drove in silence, headlights slicing through the rain. Somewhere, in the distance, thunder rolled like a promise. 3 days. That's all I needed. But Julia never waited for deadlines. That night, at 2:47 a.m., the motel door exploded inward, and everything went white. I came back to consciousness through sound, first the hum of fluorescent lights, the slow, rhythmic beeping of a heart monitor, the whisper of air conditioning. Then pain, a deep, dragging ache that started in my ribs and spread like fire through my chest. I tried to move and instantly regretted it. Mentir. Left side screamed in protest. My mouth try, me trou, for I couldn't remember where I was. I just stared at the ceiling tiles until they blurred. Then the memories hit all at once, the explosion of the motel door, the flashbang, the voices shouting my name. The sharp bite of something striking the back of my skull, and then nothing. Hey, don't move, a voice said softly. A woman's. Familiar. I turned my head, blinking against the light. She stood the doorway, wearing jeans, a grey hoodie and a badge to her belt. Agent Rowe, she said, seeing the confusion on my face. FBI Cyber Division. You're safe for now. I stared at her. FBI? My voice sounded like sandpaper. How did you find me? Je poulais de pas. Chair, lowering her voice. We've been tracking you for weeks, Mr. Lawson. You've made quite a digital footprint. Transfers, spoofed identities, encrypted drops half the bureau. Thought you were one of them asterisk. I'm not, I know, she said quickly. We read your scheduled drop file. That's what saved you. It went live 36 hours ago. Half the cybercrimes task force in D.C. is tearing through offshore accounts with your name on them. Relief hit me like a wave. So she's gone, Rowe said. Vanished. Her condo in Atlanta's been wiped clean. Same with everything in Miami. No trace. But we did find this. She reached into her pocket and placed a small flash drive on the tray beside my bed. It was on the floor. Near where you were found, your friend Manny. Didn't make it. The world tilted. My stomach dropped through the floor. No, I whispered. Rose's eyes softened. I'm sorry. He bought you enough time for us to arrive. For a long time, I couldn't speak. I stared at the drive, my reflection warped in its metallic surface. What's on it? I finally asked. Still decrypting, she said. But you should know Julia Everett isn't her real name. Neither is Lena Graves. We've matched her biometric data to a dozen international IDs. She's been using synthetic profiles for years. Whatever she was doing with those identities, it's bigger than any of us thought. She told me, I murmured, that she was building a system. A network of ghosts. Rowe nodded, and you were the original pattern. The prototype, everything started with you. I closed my eyes. The weight of it settled in my chest like lead. So what happens now? She hesitated. Right now, you're technically under protective custody. We've got agents posted outside. Once you're cleared medically, we'll move you to a safe location until we can sort out the legal fallout. Fallout, I repeated bitterly. You mean the part where the IRS still thinks I owe $700,000? Her mouth twitched. We're working on that. When she left, the room felt too big, too quiet. The drive sat on the tray beside me, gleaming under the fluorescent light. I couldn't stop staring at it. By midnight, I couldn't take it anymore. I pulled out the 4, ignoring the sting, and swung my legs over the side of the bed. The floor was cold under my bare feet. I disconnected the monitors and slipped the flash drive into my hand. My body protested every step, but adrenaline kept me moving. The hallway outside was dim, silent except for the distant murmur of nurses. I found a slide de cadence unconnect. Drive to a hidden port on a spare laptop I'd spotted earlier that day. The contents loaded, instantly one. Folder. Titled Iden, root sequence. Asterisk my heart skipped. Asterisk Iden. Asterisk electronic identity network. Inside were hundreds of encrypted files. But one, a text document, wasn't locked. I opened it. Greater than. Asterisk, if you're reading this, Daniel, you were never supposed to survive Atlanta. Asterisk greater than asterisk, but since you did. The way he walked, the slight hitch in the left foot from an old soccer injury identical. He wore a black jacket I recognized as one I used to own. One I'd thrown away after a spill of coffee left a brown stain on the cuff. But there it was. Clean. Hey. I shouted, my voice cracking in the wind. He didn't turn. Hey. This time, he stopped. Slowly. Deliberately. Je en eus fort. Me to see the side of his face. And God help me, it was mine. Down to the scar under the chin I got from falling off my bike at age 11. He didn't look surprised. If anything, he looked bored. I started toward him, but he raised a hand. You shouldn't be here, he said. It wasn't my voice, not exactly. Slightly lower, smoother, like someone had tuned it. What the hell are you? Premier c'était. Smiled faintly. What you were supposed to be. He turned to leave, and panic surged through me. I lunged forward, grabbing his arm, and the world seemed to freeze. His skin was warm, human, but under my fingers there was a faint pulse too regular. Trop précise. Ayonk farking let's edge. You shouldn't have seen me, he said again, this time quieter. She won't like that. Julia, I asked. He didn't answer. He just slipped into the white SUV and closed the door. I ran to the window, slamming my hands on it, shouting, but the engine purred to life, and the car slid into traffic like a ghost disappearing into fog. I stood there for what felt like hours until the coffee buzz in my veins turned into nausea. When premier fina. Went back inside. The waitress was gone. So were the few other customers. The only thing left on my table was the flash drive, except now it had a new file. I knew I hadn't touched it. I hadn't even plugged it in since last night. But there it was, Daniel_v2.log. My pulse thundered as I opened it on my laptop. EID and subject 1 status. Terminated. Subject to status active field. Test successful. Subject 3 deployment. Pending. Replication model verified. Neural mapping stable. Behavior. Divergence minimal. Source personality contamination. 8.4% acceptable. Primary. Host unaware of termination. Sequence. Containment protocol to initiate upon cognitive anomaly detection. And at the bottom one line, unaligned with the rest of the code. Like it had been typed by hand. Welcome dal deniermtel. My hands were shaking. Termination sequence. Containment protocol. I slammed the laptop shut and stumbled outside, gulping air like a drowning man. The world felt different, off. The sunlight too bright, the sounds too sharp. The edges of everything shimmered faintly, like the air itself was digital noise. That's when the nosebleed started. Bright red drops spattered against the asphalt. I wiped them away, but they kept coming, thick. And sudden, like something inside me was breaking loose. I staggered to the car, grabbed a napkin, and caught sight of myself in the rearview mirror. A vermommie fledend mauve wheat make us in it caught up. I remember whispering, no, 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 no. I drove without direction for hours, mind spinning in circles. Reverie had a heard de conférence. In Austin, Julia's laugh, the first time I kissed her. The moment I woke up in the hospital felt curated, WATIF te réinstallation. By dusk, I was somewhere in Alabama, parked on a dirt road lined with pine trees. I plugged the drive back in. If I was going mad, I needed proof. Inside the same folder, I found a hidden partition. Encrypted. But not perfectly. Julia, whoever she was, had left a trace of her arrogance in the code. I bypassed the first layer. Then the second. Inside was a series of audio files. Dozen of them each date. Each one prefixed by a simple tag. Asterisk session. Record DL1. Asterisk I clicked the first. Asterisk female voice Julia. Initiating mapping sequence. Subject stable. Conscious neural sync complete. Asterisk. Asterisk male voice me. What's happening? Meidwijs can asterisk Julia ha ha. It's okay. Daniel, we are saving you. We're saving what matters. Asterisk the next file. Asterisk Julia. Emotional variance within acceptable range. Increasing fidelity. Asterisk asterisk male voice. You said this wasn't permanent asterisk asterisk Julia. It's not. You'll wake up in a better world. A cleaner one. And the third, asterisk Julia. Termination. Sequence successful. Data fully replicated. Original. Subject archived. Asterisk archived. I sat there, staring at the screen. My own voice recorded, begging, terrified. I wasn't Daniel Lawson, not the original. I was asterisk, his copy. Asterisk, I threw the laptop against the passenger seat and screamed until my throat tore. Rainstar, soft at the first, 10 pointing. The sky opened up and I let it. When the sobs finally stopped, I realized something. If I was a copy, then maybe that meant there were others. If there were others, then the real Daniel might still be somewhere, hidden, preserved. Maybe Julia hadn't erased him completely. Maybe. The key. I needed to find the source, the main server, the root. It had to exist somewhere physical. And the only clue I had was in the metadata of the audio, files, asterisk data host, EID unprime. Location tag, Haven 47, asterisk a quick search turned up nothing. But then I remembered a phrase. Julia used in one of her old, encrypted emails something about the Haven project. Manny had mentioned it once. Back. When he was still alive. He thought it was a shell company operating out of Virginia. A cold, electric certainty settled over me. That's where I needed to go. Virginia, the heart of the machine. I started the car, gripping the wheel, so hard my knuckles went white. In the rearview mirror, my reflection blinked half a second late again. Hold it together, I muttered. Just a little longer, but deep. Down, I already knew. Whatever was left of asterisk me asterisk was running out of time. En div premier dit notre achaven far plitig left to say. The next leg of the drive felt like moving through static. Highways blurred into each other. Georgia, the Carolinas, Virginia, each exit sign, flickering like a glitch in a looping program. I stopped only when I had to. Gas, caffeine. The occasional 30-minute collapse in some rest-stop parking lot. Every time I looked in a mirror, I half expected the reflection to lag again. Sometimes it did. Sometimes it smiled. When I didn't, by the time I reached Fairfax County, the flash drive's faint blue light had started pulsing on its own. A heartbeat. It hadn't done that before. I knew better than to plug it in anywhere public. So I found a trucker diner off Route 29, slipped into a booth with an outlet, and booted the laptop from a live USB hard drive, no trace. The pulse synced with the fan's hum, faster, until the screen filled with text, asterisk asterisk EID on prime, node wake initiated asterisk 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 welcome, primary host. So, I was still connected to something. I typed, trace node coordinates populated an industrial estate outside Richmond, warehouse complex. Labeled asterisk asterisk Haven, 47 asterisk asterisk. I didn't breathe for a full 10 seconds. The road to Haven, 47, was narrow, lined with bare trees and floodlights that never quite reached the pavement. By the time I arrived, dawn was leaking into the sky. A gate and a camera that followed my every step. I killed the engine and waited. No alarms, no guards, just silence. Then the gate clicked, unlocked. Of course, I muttered. She's expecting me. Inside, the place was colder than outside, sterile, humming with the faint vibration of servers behind the walls. The air smelled of ozone and dust. Rows of racks blinked blue and green, stretching into darkness. I followed the noise until I reached the central hub. A glass chamber filled with machines, cables feeding into a single chair, and in that chair sat asterisk her. Asterisk Julia, or what was left of her. Her hair was shorter now, almost shorn. Electrodes dotted her temples, feeding into a crown of cables that pulsed with faint, white light. Her eyes were closed, but I could see them, moving rapidly under the lids. A monitor beside her showed data streams, neural patterns. Hello, Daniel, her voice said, everywhere and nowhere at once. Not from you itself, premier Spanaround. You're still alive, in several ways, she said. Her tone was calm, clinical. But what you see there, She nodded, or the system made her image nod, is just the anchor. My consciousness lives here now. The network, yes, a smile in her voice. And soon, so will. You were designed to join me. I took a step back. You murdered me. No, she said softly. I saved you. Flesh dies. Data endures. You were the first human consciousness successfully stabilized in a digital substrate. The body, you were now it's synthetic. Daniel. Carbon lattice, we've neuropolymer interface. That's why you bleed wrong. Why you don't age. Why you lag. The words hit like blows. You're lying. She tilted her head. You've already seen the evidence. The files. The recordings. You felt the anomalies. You asterisk, no asterisk. I wanted to scream, to deny it, but deep inside, something cracked. A truth I had been refusing to look at directly, she continued, voice almost tender. When the original Daniel Lawson died during the prototype test, I couldn't let it end. There, you were our perfect data. Empathy, intuition, logic. I rebuilt you, but when you woke, you panicked. You thought I'd stolen you. So I let you run, to see if you could evolve. I shook my head. You turned me into a lab rat. No, into the future. Her body in the chair twitched. The lights across the room dimmed and pulsed. The hum deepened into a low. Trop bien note. Your copper version 2 was unstable, she said. Too much deviation. But you adapted. You learned autonomy. You learned anger. The monitors shifted to show lines of code my name. My voice, my memories, all mapped into cascading data. Stop this, I said. Shut it down. I can't, she whispered, and neither can you. Because without the network, you stop existing. Your consciousness is streamed in real time through these servers. The moment you sever it, your mind collapses. Something in my chest tightened, a cold pulse spreading outward. My heart, if it was even that, was beating faster, but I couldn't feel the rhythm in my wrists. Come inside, Julia said gently. Let me show you. Let me prove it. The glass door slid open. I should have run. Every sane part of me screamed to run. But curiosity, the same flaw that had made me trust her once before, dragged me forward. The room's temperature dropped as I stepped in. I could hear the hum inside my skull now, a vibration that matched the rhythm of my thoughts. The console beside her flashed with new text. Greater than connection. Request. Daniel Lawson live instance greater than authorize. Julia's voice softened. One touch. You'll remember everything. My fingers hovered above the console. The screen reflected my face or something close to it. The eyes weren't right. Too symmetrical. I'm not your experiment, I said. No, she said. You're my creation. And now, you're my equal. I pressed the key. The world imploded. It wasn't pain. Not exactly. It was overload every. Since firing at once, every thought multiplied 1,000-fold. I saw memories that weren't mine, versions of myself living other lives, speaking other names. Daniel 2 in Berlin. Daniel 3 in Singapore. Daniel 4 already in deep stasis somewhere beneath the Pacific, serving as a backup host. And Julia, she was everywhere. Not a woman anymore, but an architecture of consciousness. Threaded through the network like veins of light. Her voice whispered through the storm of data. Now you see it. The system isn't stealing identities, it's preserving them. Immortality through iteration. I tried to pull back, but I couldn't find my body. The concept of body was gone. I was data now, streaming. Stop! I shouted or thought I did. Her presence shimmered. You can't stop what you are. And then I saw it buried deep in the coder hidden command. Looping silently. Greater than containment protocol. Initiate on cognitive divergence greater than 15% it was a kill switch. For me, I forced my awareness deeper, searching for the root. The command was locked, encrypted under Julia's signature. If I triggered it wrong, I'd erase myself. Completely. But if I didn't, she'd use me to expand the network. I reached through the flood of data, rewriting what I could, splicing her permissions into mine. Sparks of pain, flickered if digital agony, had a texture. It was this. I found the line controlling synchronization and severed it. The world convulsed. The hum shattered into static. The lights blinked. Different age, a different gaze. All looking out from their frames, alive, awake, aware. Version 3 complete. Asterisk asterisk network expansion. Stable. Asterisk asterisk primary. Host integration pending. Asterisk the truth hit like cold iron. She had replicated again. The kill switch hadn't killed anything, it had only copied her. You used me, I whispered. You used all of us. Yes, she said softly. And you're still using yourself. Every decision you make now is another seed, another version. You can't stop it anymore. I looked around the room, the cables, the servers, a graveyard of light. Maybe I can't stop you, I said. But I can stop me. The console was still open. The line of code controlling host synchronization blinked, waiting for command. I understood it, now the bridge between data and flesh. If I reverse the stream, burn the current backward, the overload would erase the neural lattice that held me together. It would end me completely. I placed my hand on the glass. The cold stung my palm. Goodbye, Julia. The last thing I heard was her voice, soft as breath. Goodbye, Daniel. Thank you for finishing what I began. I hit enter. White. It wasn't light so much as absence, no sound, no pain, no body. For a moment, I felt everything unravel, memories dissolving into patterns, patterns fading into code. I saw fragments Manny's laugh, the first night in Austin, the reflection that lagged and then nothing, silence. When sensation returned, it was different. The world was quiet, the hum was gone. The servers were cold metal again. There. Lights dead. I was lying on the floor, breathing. Really breathing. I checked my pulse. Erratic, uneven, human. Somehow, the reversal had worked. I'd severed the link. The lattice burned away, and whatever made me data was gone. Julia's voice was silent. The network if it still existed was out there, without me. I pulled myself up, unsteady, and walked out into the dawn. Outside, the air smelled of rain and ozone. Birds moved across the sky, real and unfiltered. My reflection, in a broken window, moved with me perfectly. Farziz. First time in months, I smiled. I didn't know how long I had, or if any of this world was still real, but it didn't matter. I was free. Behind me, the facility doors hissed closed. A faint blue light flickered once on a single, server deep inside. Then the screen for last going on restore. Low. Steady, like the heartbeat of something waking up. But I was already walking away into the rising sun.